Hey guys, I'm back with another action figure review, and this time we're going to take a look at the Marvel Legends Young Avengers box set. A set I was really excited to get, and definitely look forward to reviewing for you guys. Um, I couldn't find an exact release date, but I believe it was released around April or May of 2006, which was just about a year after the first issue of the Young Avengers series debuted. So these figures are actually based on. I imagine that they basically decided to make these figures when the series was like announced, because they're based off of the characters' original appearances, and these costumes only lasted about 6 or 7 issues before they got new ones, and there were new characters introduced, and all that stuff. So they aren't really, the most accurate as far as like the kind of looks that you're most familiar with for the characters. But as a big Young Avengers fan, I would love to have figures of all of them, and I wish they had released more characters later on and the different looks. And I really hope that they release Marvel Legends of the Marvel Now Young Avengers now, but I'm not gonna hold my breath because Marvel Legends have been not doing so hot lately, it seems. But yes, I will be reviewing this set for you now, and I'm just gonna show you the box first. And to do so, I think I'm gonna have to move these guys, so you don't have to look at their awkward poses anymore, because they're a little, yeah, they are a little bit difficult to stand. So oops. So yeah, they did have a little bit of an awkward pose to start, but just take a look at their box. So I picked this up on eBay, the whole set, for about 30 bucks shipped in the end, because I had a couple eBay bucks, and I got such a good deal. I'm so excited because when I was at New York Comic Con, I saw vendors charging like 70 bucks for this. It's on Toy Wiz for 100. Like, eBay, Amazon, it can go for anywhere from like, 40, 50, 60, 70, up. Anyway, so in the box, and then out of the box, each figure kind of goes loose for anywhere from like 17 to like 25, 30, depending on which figure it is. Some are more popular than others. So I was really excited to get a good deal on this in the box with the stands and the comic and everything. But yeah, so you can see these are Toy Biz figures. So it has the old Marvel Legends logo there. You have Asgardian, Hulkling, Iron Lad, and Patriot, and 32-page comic book included. It does say Young Avengers on the top, but I can't really move this around very well, so I'm going to flip over to the back and show you that. And there you can see the comic book is included. It has a little description up here. If you want to take a look at that. Nice glare, but it's just a little write-up about the Young Avengers. And then over here you have their stats, which are really cool. I like that Toy Biz did this back in the day. And so you have Asgardian, Hulkling, Patriot, and Iron Lad is up there. See, he's up there, I swear. And he has the best stats of all. But yeah, so, sorry, I need a bigger review space so I can show you guys these things, but as of right now, I don't have the biggest space. So that's, it's just a box, no big deal. The figures you can see, no problem. So, it does come with issue 1 of the Young Avengers. Obviously a not for sale, resale edition. You can see some old Marvel Heroes figures on the back. And then it does come with figure stands, which I quite like. You get one for each character. Take note, DC Collectibles. I'm talking the Hush pack that I reviewed last time I made a video. But not only is there a stand for each character, but there is 2 pegs on each, and they're really quite cool stands. So each character's an image of each character. Sorry, I keep knocking the camera. An image of each character is featured on their stand. So then you see they have 2 pegs, and each figure does have 2 peg holes, so you can put both feet in, spread, or you can put one foot in either peg, whichever you like. So that is Asgardian. You have Hulkling. Really cool. Iron Lad. And Patriot. So I think these stands are really cool. I'm happy to have them, and I may have to use them because, as I said, some of these figures are pretty difficult to stand, unfortunately. So, yeah, definitely cool to have. Thank you, Toy Biz. And now we'll get onto the figures. So I'm going to do one at a time, and yes, if you haven't assumed by now, this review is going to be quite long because I like to review sets of figures as a set in one video. I know it ends up being quite long, but I kind of prefer it to having to go through each individual video and starting over, and I like to see them all together. So I'm sorry if you don't. Try fast forwarding if you want to see just one of the figures. But yeah, so let's see. Let's start with Iron Lad. If any of you are familiar with this set, you will know that Iron Lad is the poorest of the figures, and you'll see why, because I really don't understand what went wrong with this guy, but just one sec. Move these guys over. Okay, so we have Iron Lad to start. Now, he's not, like, I mean, I think I've heard some reviewers call him, like, the worst figure to ever exist. I mean, I don't know, but, you know, I'm happy to have him because I'm such a big Young Avengers fan, and, like, I'm just happy to get the set and everything, but he is a pretty bad figure. So, for Marvel Legends standards, anyway, or any sort of a modern 6-inch figure standards, but, yeah, I'm just, really, you know, the sculpting isn't the worst. It's, he's much too slim, I think, you know. I mean, his armor is supposed to be, like, even better than Iron Man's, so, maybe maybe it's okay because, you know, it's a little bit, it can be slimmer, you know, he can fit in there regardless. You can kind of stretch it, but it just he looks really gangly. His proportions are off, like, his arms look like orangutan arms. They're, like, I don't know, too long. His head looks maybe even a little small. I'm just not sure what, and then his feet are really big. I'm not really sure what their problem was with this, but, you know, the actual details and everything look fine. I mean, there's some cool, you know, like, sorry, I'm just trying to get the light closer here. There we go. Okay, so he's got some, you know, he's got some good detail work. Let's show you the face there. You can see, like, all the little pieces are all sculpted. There's a piece inside it, you know, like a little nub inside of the hole. You know, this is all sculpted. His hands, he's got, you know, sculpted ridges in the fingers. It's you know, it's well done in that respect. It's just the proportions are off, and the articulation's probably the worst part of this figure, so yeah. The paint is a little sloppy in areas. Like, he's got just some stray silver right here on this leg. I don't know why. I might be able to, looks like I might be able to scrape it off. But, you know, he's got, like, sloppy silver on this joint. Like, why? These joints are just really sloppy. Looks like he's got some more, you know, just the silver got sloppy. I don't know. On this back here, he's got, like, you know, sloppy yellow, and then, you know, I'm just not sure what happened with this guy, but I'm just gonna say off the bat, like, if you are looking to get this set, or you're interested in, like, one figure in particular, don't feel like you have, you know, if you're not super big on getting Iron Lad, don't feel like you have to get the whole set. You know, maybe you just want to pick up, you know, Asgardian by himself. Don't feel bad. But, you know, this particular figure, not very highly recommended. The rest of them, yes. So, I'm just going to go through his articulation so you can see just how awkward it is. His head does move side to side. It does not move up, really. It does go down. His arms are just, I don't know what they were thinking. They go all the way around, and they go out a tiny bit, but they're not going to stay there because he's got this, like, shoulder armor covering the ball disc and, like, hitting against this shoulder piece. So you can see what it's doing there. You can't move it anymore. So his arms don't go out. He's got double jointed elbows, but they don't work. the forearm joint. Okay, maybe it's just that arm. This arm seems to work fine, but this arm does not want to bend at the second joint. I don't know why. He has a wrist rotation, and then he has a hinge at the wrist and a finger all together finger hinge, so he can do whatever that is. That doesn't really make a fist. Now he has two joints in his abdominal region. One is his like waist swivel at the bottom, and you know, it actually doesn't, it's not too bad. You know, it's a waist swivel, but it has like this armor pieces that kind of conceal it a little bit, so that's cool. But then this top one, you see it all the way around the figure. This back piece, it goes all the way around to the front. It shows here. It does next to nothing. It's supposed to be a diaphragm joint that gives him, I guess, an ab crunch. But look at this. He does that. Oh, oh, oh. I mean, it's really useless. And it's just such an obvious joint. You'd think that you'd get more motion out of it. So that's just kind of a bust. Then his hips are these... They're just ball discs. They're not ball... I don't think they're... Okay, so they're ball discs on a ball joint, but, like... You can't spread his legs because, again, he has this big, bulky, like, armor piece here that hits against his hip. You can't spread his legs. But he gets, you know, good range of motion still because he can flip his whole leg around because, you know, who can do that with their legs, right? Woo! So, decent range of motion there. It's just very bizarrely done. No thigh swivel, but he does have double jointed knees, and no shin swivel, but he does have a rotation. Oh, wait a minute, no he doesn't. He doesn't have a rotation at the foot. He just has a hinge at the foot. Big hinge, that's good. Very, very, very slight rocker, not really even a rocker, and then a toe joint. So, overall, just a very strange figure, and I think he just flaked some paint off. That's cool. I guess, thanks. Yep. Yellow paint just flaked off of one of his joints. Cool. But anyway, so that's Iron Lad. Very bizarrely done articulation and not the best sculpting. So yes, he is pretty poorly done, but I'm just happy to have this set anyway. And the rest of the figures are better, I promise. So let's get on to them. We will do Patriot next. Now, Patriot, much better done. He's more of your typical kind of Marvel Legends figure, just on the teen body. Of course, he's got really annoying wide-jointed hips that I'm sorry, I'm just trying to rotate around so I can get him to stand, but apparently that's not going to go anywhere. Sorry, I just don't... He's going to stand a little funny because I don't want to waste time trying to get his Y-joint to work the right way while I'm on camera. But, yes, we have Patriot. And he does come with a shield. It's kind of metallic. The blue is a very light blue, but it's pretty metallic. This is not. But it does have, you know, your standard, like the Bucky Cap shield. It just does not have, like, a rotating piece. This one is just this piece. It doesn't move at all. So that clips on to his wrist. And it's a little bit loose, but it's not too bad. He did come with a rubber band in the package to hold it on, so, you know, it shows their faith in it, but it's cool anyway. Nice to see the flag shield. And get on with the figure. So he's better done. Unfortunately, these hips, I just can't. But, yeah, so I'll show you the details in his sculpting. So we have the face here. Now I personally liked this look for him better. After they got their new costumes, he had just a domino mask, and I like this better. I think it's cool, the whole face mask, but with the built-in red domino mask. I think it looks really cool. I like this costume as a whole better for him than the second costume he has, but no biggie. So you can see this all here is sculpted. He's got these dots. Each of these are sculpted. The buttons. I mean, the line here is sculpted. Pieces on his shoulders are sculpted. Look at the stitching even on the shoulders. That's all sculpted. Gloves look really good. They've got the flare out. The belt is really nice. It's a really soft belt, soft rubbery. All the pouches are soft, but it's nicely detailed nonetheless, and it's painted well. So it's brown, but it has like a black wash over it, and it has the silver buckles are all painted. I don't think it's removable. No. So, but it's very stretchy and very moves easily. Then, you know, the rest of him is pretty straightforward, just pants. You can, but they're nice. They look nice. They have the lines pulling tight against the skin. And then the boots. The paint is pretty nicely done on him as well. He does have some kind of dirt smudge here. I don't think that's a paint problem, really. The stripes you can see are nicely done on his pants. No bleeding from the boots to the pants here. I do notice, though, that he had, I don't know if you can see this on the camera. Yeah, you can, I think. He's got like a blue, I don't know if this was supposed to be their form of shading. He just kind of has like a blue line from here up to the crotch and then back down again. And it's just like, I don't know, it doesn't really look like it's doing anything. And I don't know if maybe that just kind of rubbed off from his, I don't know, it's on the sides too. I think it was supposed to be some form of shading. It just didn't come out very nice. Oh, 2006, I was right. So, there you go. Of course, that doesn't tell me the month, but I do think it was April or May. So, yes. Yeah, painting's clean up here as well. The star looks really good. That's sculpted also, by the way. Gloves look good. There's some shading in the body. It looks better up here than it does in the pants, the white pants. So, I'll go through his articulation now. Leave it to me to talk and talk about the really bad figure and then not have as much to say about the good figures. But yes, his head is really nice range of motion. It goes, you know, side to side and then all the way up because it's got the neck hinge, as you can see, and all the way down. You can tilt it and move it. It's really, really nice. His arms, unfortunately, do suffer a similar problem to Iron Lad, but not as bad. As you can see, there's the sculpting on his shoulders is kind of squared instead of a round ball joint like usual. So that ends up, when you lift his arm, it does hit into the shoulder, but not as badly as Iron Lad. Iron Lad can get his arm like here. So, and funnily enough, when you pose him like this with his arms out, it looks really natural. It looks like you don't really see the joint. It looks like his arms are just out, and it looks good, I think. So I don't know why you would ever want to pose him like, you know, doing a robot or whatever, but because when his arms are down, you kind of see, if you put them like all the way down, you see the gap in between the shoulder and the joint. And if you put them just like this, they look better, but still you got this square part. So then when you do this, they look really natural. But yeah, he does have a bicep swivel now, and double jointed elbows that work. Strong man. Sorry. He does have glove swivel, a wrist hinge, and fingers hinge. It's a little stiff on this one. And again, it doesn't really make a fist. It kind of, well, I guess that, I don't know. These were just such awkward joints in my opinion. But, whatever. You can get him to hold a gun or something probably. Not that he would, but yeah. So, he does have an ab crunch, much better than Iron Lad's diaphragm thing. A waist swivel, which is like under the belt, which looks kind of cool, like the belt hides it. He has, like I said, obnoxiously wide jointed hips that you can see are like the joint, well, maybe you can't see, but the joint is right here, and I need to turn it to the side and then turn his stupid thigh swivel, and so I can get him to stop looking like he's got his legs spread. But unfortunately, it's not working out right now. So, he's got bow-legged legs. So he's got the built-in thigh swivel there, and then he has double-jointed knees, nice and smooth. He does have a boot swivel. And then he has ankle hinge. Really big hinge. Nice rocker. And then a toe hinge. His feet are really big. They remind me of the Dakin figure from the newer Marvel Legends. I don't know why some of these figures have really big feet, and sometimes I really just hate toe joints because they bend and they make it difficult to stand the figure up when they should be helping to stand the figure. So anyway, another note I just wanted to say, I just thought of this. These figures, I know I haven't really mentioned as much tight or loose joints, but they vary. Some of the joints on these figures, some of the joints are really loose and some of them are really tight and frozen. So I think that kind of just varies from set to set. These have been in a box since 2006, so it's not surprising that there are some issues, but that's Patriot. Really like this guy. So if you want just to figure him, find him loose, whatever, definitely do recommend this one as opposed to Iron Lad. So there you go. Next up, we'll do Hulkling. Now, Hulkling is very loose. Almost all of his joints are loose except for one that's stuck. But yeah, he is a really nicely done figure as well. He's kind of got a simpler look. Probably the simplest of all of them. So, but still done really well. And his hands actually look like fists when you close them, so that's good. But let me just show you some details. Let me show you the head first. Definitely looks really good. I mean, it has a young-looking face. It has hair. He's got a little bit of green tinting in the hair, and then he's got the earrings on his both ears that look really good. So that's definitely awesome. The shirt, this is all sculpted, these cross-hatching patterns, and painted well. It's got like a wash in there. Everything else is pretty much just black, but it actually does have some gray dry brushing over like the whole thing. You can see it in here too. There's like gray. I don't know if you can really coming off on camera, but he's got gray dry brushing over it, so it's got depth. Looks really good. Green skin doesn't look like it has too much in the way of shading or highlights, but still, there's not too much of that showing, and it looks good. And I think his size is really nice. He does look a little bit bigger than the rest of the set, but not too much. And his arms look really bulky, but not the rest of his body is kind of not as bulky. He's just kind of tall. So as you can, I mean, I'm not even moving him that much, and he's kind of wiggling all over the place. But this one shoulder joint here, this left shoulder joint, is totally frozen. I mean, I can turn it this way, but the disc, which you can see right here, is totally frozen. So I'm gonna have to try maybe some hot water and see if that'll. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, it's not. Wait a minute. Oh, there we go. I thought it was a little funny. He was just upside down. Okay, so there we go. Now he's not frozen anymore. And see how dumb Olivia is on camera. Sorry guys, I just didn't notice it was upside down. But, yes, so that's better. He's not frozen. Now I will go through his articulation. So the head, as you could have seen before, is on a disc. So it does go up and down, but it's got a pretty good range of motion. Just not quite as good as Patriot's. It does go all the way down, just not as far up. But it does go up quite a bit, so that's good. It does go, left and right, 360. His shoulders are much better than the others. Well, I guess they're not, like, super better, but they don't look weird. Like, they fit into his shirt really nicely, and they don't get hung up on anything, really. They just, they stop at a certain point. But you can turn and stuff, make them. So yes, baldest shoulders, bicep swivel, only single-jointed elbows, as most of the bigger guys tend to have, unfortunately. But you get like 90 degrees out of it, so it's reasonable. And then he has a swivel at the glove, a wrist hinge, and a finger hinge. So he can have open hands, and then close into basically what looks like a fist, unlike the others. Then you can see some highlights in the glove there, and you can just see how they're glossy black and sculpted to look like leather. It's really nice. So those are his gloves. He does have an ab crunch, which not a huge range of motion going back. A little bit better forward, but not too much. It does have a waist swivel, and it has a ratchet in it, which I thought was weird. I've never really heard one in a waist swivel before. He also has wide jointed hips, I think. They look like wide joints. Yeah, they're wide joints. But they are much more fluid than Patriots. I'm having no issues moving them around, almost to the point where they feel slightly loose, as you can see. Like, I'm just like, whoop, whoop, whoop. But I'd rather have that. Oh, great, now I'm going to twist them up. I'd rather have this than being frozen, so. They do have built-in thigh swivels right here, but because the ball joints are so loose, it's a little difficult to actually move the swivel itself, which is okay because now you kind of get them stuck on the right direction of the ball joint, and you don't have to worry about them getting stuck. So, double jointed knees, which don't move as far because he's got these bulky pants. And no boot swivel because of the, I guess because he's got these, you know, bunched up look. They didn't want to attempt that. I don't know. But he does have a slight ankle hinge, and then a little bit of a rocker, and a toe hinge, which doesn't move much. His feet don't move too much in general. But, yeah. So, that's Hulkling. Another cool figure in the set. Definitely recommend him if you're a fan. And last up, we have Asgardian. And yes, he is Asgardian in the first 6 or 7 issues or whatever, before when they change their costumes, that's when he changes his name to Wiccan. So, this figure is technically of Asgardian, not Wiccan. In his costume change, he loses the big wings, and, you know, which looks a little bit more streamlined. They all kind of look a bit more streamlined in their new costumes, and, it's just kind of which do you prefer. But, yeah, I really like this figure. He's probably my favorite of the Young Avengers. So, I'm happy to have a figure of him, but he's also the hardest to stand, so, yes, I may be using a stand for him. But, yeah, really nicely done, I think. He does have an accessory, as you can see, his staff. Actually, it's 2 accessories. His staff is just, a long, rubbery, brown piece. Ooh. Where'd it go? Excuse me. So yeah, it's, it's pliable. It's not sculpted to be completely straight, so it looks naturally like a stick that you'd find. It's got a little bit of black on it. You can't really see, but it's there. So that's really nice. And then his other accessory is his bag. That is really nicely done as well. It's very rubbery. I think you can take it off too if you really want to. You can kind of, yeah, let me see if I can. I'll keep it on. I'm going to keep it on him ultimately, but just to show you closer up, wiggle it down off of his body. You could definitely take off his cape too, but I'll get that to in a second. So this is his bag. It's brown, really rubbery, as you can see, stretchy. Don't want to break that though. It's got, it's like, it's something silly as this. It's got black wash though. It has the buckles painted silver. It just looks really nice for something so simple. But, yeah, so definitely cool accessories. And yeah, so his cape is totally a loose piece. Not glued on, not pegged into his back. If you popped off his head, which I'm not going to attempt to do, you could definitely pull this off. I would want to stick it in hot water to pull off his head. But yeah, you could definitely take the cape off. If you're not a fan of it being really loose, you could probably just glue it down, no problem. Just maybe on the shoulders right here. That would keep it a little bit tighter. But I feel like it's a little bit more natural when it's loose. Like in real life, you'd wear it pretty loose. But yeah. So let me show you some of this in detail. Pretty good face sculpt, if you ask me. Looks pretty young. He's got good hair coming over the thing. He's got the wings are soft, rubbery softness. And if you, for whatever reason, want to take the wings off, if you want to make him Wiccan instead of Asgardian, you could probably trim them fairly easily, and then just maybe sand this down a little bit and then paint it silver, and he would have no wings. But, yeah. So, nice head sculpt. The cape is really nicely sculpted. It's a soft, pliable rubber, the whole thing. It's maybe, I thought maybe it was a little heavy and that was weighing him down, but it's so light, I don't think that's really doing it. But it's really nicely sculpted. It looks like very draped very nicely. It's got shading. These pieces are rubber as well, but they look really nice. This whole thing, it just looks like it's draped so nicely. And then painted really well. He does have some smudging on his back underneath it, but it covers it, so not a huge deal. But really, how does this happen? I think he has some on the front too. He has some skin paint on, one of his, silver discs. It's kind of, I guess I'm thankful that it's underneath something that's covered. But this one it moves around. You can kind of see it sometimes. But yeah, these are also sculpted, all the chest circles that look like door. This is a loose, rubbery, very soft rubber. You gotta be careful that you don't go, like, ripping this. It's much like the fabric, not the fabric, the rubber of the strap. And, yeah, so it's all sculpted. The belt is sculpted. He's got sculpted bracers with a sculpted piece here. And this is also sculpted, like, really just nicely done as far as everything being sculpted and not just painted on. Even this line, these lines are sculpted. He's got... How many times can I say sculpted in one video? Woohoo! Boots. Can you guess? Sculpted. Or, I guess, are they supposed to be boots, really? I mean, looks like he's just got, like, the cuffs, but not the actual shoe. But very nicely done. It's like a weathered, golden, worn, brassy color. It's really cool. He's even got, you know, just details in here. And this is raised up. So, you can see, and then you can see his costume is, like, you know, black, but it's got blue highlights. It's got, like, gray, some gray, I think, in there. It's, like, weathered. It looks really good. I think he was one of the best of the set, if not the best, other than the fact that he doesn't really stand. So, I'll go through his articulation. His head, you know, side to side. It's a little sticky, but moves. It goes up and down. His arms go up, up. His goes the highest, because he doesn't have anything blocking his shoulders like the others. He's got a bicep swivel with, I don't think I pointed this out, sculpted short sleeves. Love that. Usually they just paint short sleeves and end them. He's got double jointed elbows. He's got a no glove or wrist rotation, just the hinge. And this hand is sculpted into a circle to hold his staff at all times. And this one is sculpted, is hinged at the wrist and at the fingers. So he can move his fingers. I don't know what he's going to do with them like that, but he can move them. So it's an extra point of articulation for you. He does have a very nice ab crunch. Goes very far back, as you can see, and very far forward. So that's really nicely done there. Waist swivel that is also ratcheted. So there, that's good. He's got wide jointed hips as well. That aren't as bad as Patriots, but not quite as smooth as Hulklings. Well, they're actually pretty smooth. So, oop, they do turn around though. He's got the built-in thigh swivel, so his thigh swivel works. He's the loosest figure he's done in the set for sure. At least my set, he's very loose in the legs, very loose. His ab crunch is slightly like ooh, but even his head going up and down on the hinge, everything's very loose, but not like drastically in a bad way. So I'm not really, you know, but yes, double jointed knees, no swivel in the boot area. But he does have an ankle hinge, and a little bit of a rocker, and then a toe. So, yes. I think he's my favorite of the set, and he, you know, maybe I'm biased because I really like his character, but, yes, that is Asgardian. And I did just want to show a side-by-side size comparison with a more modern Marvel Legends figure to show the scale. I think that he's in pretty decent scale with, they all are. Maybe I'll pull them all back in and just show you side-by-side with the Marvel Legends to show that they are in a teen scale. You know what? I'm just gonna pull his stand in, so that I don't have to waste all this time trying to get him to stand up. So, there we go. He's on a stand. So, okay, sorry, he's a little bit taller than he should be, but Hulkling. And Patriot's legs are bow-legged, so he's not 100% reliable as far as a height comparison either, but and Iron Lad is just whack. So, anyway, that's the set. And I pulled a random Marvel Legends out. I have the movie Iron Patriot. So this is actually a slightly better scaled, like, Iron Man figure. And if you can see, like, him next to Iron Lad, he just looks generally bigger. His head's a little bigger. He's taller, bulkier. So that looks good. And then next to, you know, like a normal kid, he's definitely bigger. So that looks really good. Next to Hulkling, Hulkling's a little bigger because, well, you know, he should be. Sorry. Ooh. Probably gonna fall again, but... Yep. Sorry, guys. Like I said, a little bit hard to stand up, but let me just show you up here. So Hulkling's just a little bit taller. Yeah. So, overall, very good set. You know, Iron Lad's kind of just the downer of the set, but if you have, you know, you just display him next to them, behind them, whatever, you don't want to display him at all. The rest of them are definitely worth getting if you're a fan, or if you're a Marvel Legends collector, or whatnot. Very cool set. You know, I recommend trying to find it in more the price range I paid for it. 30, I feel like I got a very good deal. You know, thinking about that, that's less than 10 bucks a figure, plus the comic and the stands, you know. So, I think, you know, I think it's worth 40, 45 bucks. I'm not sure what it retailed for when it came out originally in 2006, but something in that range sounds good to me. 50 if you really, really want it. You can easily buy it now for it new in box for 50 bucks, if you just kind of look around. So, yeah, I'm sorry this was a little bit long, but I actually did reasonably well considering there's 4 figures. I haven't even hit 40 minutes. That's not 10 minutes per figure, so I rambled and rambled, but not as long as I thought it'd be. So if you stuck with me through all this, thanks so much. It's good to be back, and definitely like this set and recommend it. And thanks a lot. So I'll be coming back to you guys with some more videos soon. And thanks for watching. Bye, guys.